I have dedicated my professional career to the study and control of arthropods.
It isn't real! Don't you people understand that stuff isn't real? None of it! How stupid are you?
What do you mean it ain't real?
Hello, perverts and reprobates. Somebody suggested that would be a good intro, so maybe I'll start using it. This video, I've noticed a lot of the people I subscribe to, a number of them have made videos about the user Mystical Forest. I'll put a link up if you haven't seen his vids already. Please watch them. They're interesting, to say the least. And a whole shitload of material to mine for future videos, which is a good thing. Some of my other sources are getting boring. Anyway, but this one of the points that he made, and this isn't a response to him in any. I'm not making a response to Mystical Forest. I'm actually more wanting to talk about a concept, and this is a concept that you hear a lot from him, from other people, from lots and lots of these biblical literalists, anti-evolutionists, fundamentalist Christians, whatever, where they use terms and phrases that imply that their belief system is under attack, that they are a minority, a persecuted minority. And I find that really interesting, given that, reality doesn't mesh with that viewpoint in any way at all. Their belief system is the majority, maybe not the extreme views of it, but nonetheless, overall, especially, or at least in this country, their belief system is the majority. And it's amazing, and I have to believe that it's this persecution cult that's being said. I mean, according to the whole Hal Lindsey interpretation of Revelations, right? Their belief has to become, they have to be hunted down in the streets and living underground and, playing the whole Anne Frank game before their Jesus will come back. They have to, that's the future that they envision. And so they have to start looking for clues for that future everywhere they can. Even if it doesn't in any way meld with what's going on in the world at all, they don't have any problem with inventing it. So they look at, every single time a successful lawsuit removes, I don't know, a Christian symbol from a public institution, that's like this persecution that's going on against them. And they invent things. I got this. I'll tell you this. I get these emails from my work. I work at a public school, and I get these things. And I have politely asked the person who sends them, this one person one of my head supervisors, in fact, that sends these things around. And I have asked politely to please discontinue. And I keep getting them. It's been ignored, and I can't do a damn thing about it, right? Because those persecuted Christians, right? Those persecuted Christians, have power over me and have power in our school system. Interesting. But nonetheless, the one I got recently was one of those, for all of you teachers out there, it was, I think, the title of it. I can't recall. And it was every day you go to school, and then it had a list of, you deal with kids with bloody noses, and it's this whole list of the things you have to teach, reading and writing and this stuff with one tattered textbook, and it was basically all of the hardships that teachers have to go through, all of these days, the thankless job that, it was a long list of these things sort of told in this narrative form. And then at the end of it, and it says, but if you try to pray, you'll get kicked out of school. There was a sort of the end of it. It was like, you do all of this for us, and yet if you ask for one simple prayer, you'll lose your job. And that was and I was just looking at this thing, and I just wanted my gut reaction was I wanted to hit reply and go, what the fuck is this bullshit? What the fuck is it? I go to the teacher's lounge and I hear Christian discussions going on. You know? I mean, I politely walk by while they're talking about something about Jesus or something about this or something about their church and something cute their pastor said or whatever it is, you know? And it doesn't offend me. I don't mind it. It's not illegal. It's not anything. It's just the fact is the majority of people I work with are Christian, and so they discuss these things. But the point is that this thing, as if somehow there's what do you think? Hidden things inside their computers that if they, were to politely, quietly, discreetly ask Jesus for some help during their hard work day, that somehow the police would come and arrest them in school. That's the implication by this bullshit. And it's simply false. It's simply made up. Teachers can pray. They can't make the students pray, but they can pray. They can wear their crosses around their neck, profess they're Christian. They can talk about Sunday. They can do all of those things. They just can't make other people do it. They can't force it upon students. They can't introduce that into their curriculum. And yet, the belief that persecution occurs seems to be fundamentally important to these Christians. They want to believe that they're under attack. And yet, I can't spend money without looking at In God We Trust. I have to sit in my office and hear a whole bunch of kindergartners reciting One Nation Under God, which I would think, if you were a true Christian patriot libertarian, you would be opposed to, but apparently not. The whole Pledge of Allegiance in general, loyalty oaths, that should violate any constitutionalists. It should be a violation of everything they stand for. But it mentions their God, so they want it. That's where the hypocrisy comes in. But those kinds of things, it just shows that we live in a Christian nation. It, on paper, is a secular nation, but in reality, because of the beliefs of most of the people, it's a Christian nation. They're not under attack. And it gives me gas when I hear Christians talk about this. It's kind of like, as I told you guys before, I mentioned I'm a quarter Ojibwa Indian. And, and I don't look at, and so I sort of, I look at it like I can infiltrate, so I get around, and I hear a lot of, I have to it makes me want to, I don't know what the reaction it gives me, but I'll sit around, I'll be hanging out with a bunch of white guys, we'll all be hanging out and, drinking beer, or whatever, and one of them will say, you know who the real minority in this country is? White men. We're the ones who are oppressed. And I just what the fuck? And it's kind of that same thing when I hear Christians saying that, I said that to illustrate the point. It's like, how in the fuck are you repressed? Just like Christians, how in the fuck are you repressed? Meaning they look at repression, I guess the definition they use for being persecuted is they can't force their religion on other people, and that's persecution. That's the most fucked up definition of persecution I think the world has ever seen. Look at people who have actually been persecuted. Talk to a Holocaust survivor and say, yeah, I understand how you feel. I'm persecuted too. You know what I mean? It's insulting, ridiculous, completely false, and yet it seems to be everywhere. YouTube and in the real world, all over the place, It's bizarre, okay? I don't know. Anyway, I guess that's what I had to say. Maybe, hopefully, I'll have time to make some more videos today. I'm not sure. My schedule is really... I got freaking boxes and boxes of copepods to count and sort sitting on my kitchen table right now for a project. Things like that. I got shitloads of work. So, hopefully, I'll get to it. Anyway, so, guys, take care. Try not to persecute any Christians, I guess. Bye.